Okay, Darren, bestautodetailingtips.com. Okay, Tim Buddy from Mississippi, and Chris Garcia from Marietta, which Marietta is here in Southern California. Very nice, newer community down south, a little ways from here. Anyhow, this is for you guys because I get them writing in, asking whatever, and saying, hey Darren, how do you take care of your car? Specifically, how do you wash your car? That is a slippery slope for me because I do not do a lot of things in the conventional way. And the way I do things is what I kind of call the dry wash method. Now, I'll give you a little background because I started doing this like 15 plus years ago. And I'll tell you a story here. I was out in a place called Nellie Gale Ranch, which is in South County of Orange County. It's a very exclusive, high-end, gated community. And I used to show up and do this guy's 3 cars every weekend. And after a few months, the neighbor across the street came across to where I was working and asked me, he's like, I notice you do things differently, but I can't believe the results you get. He's like, you should like market that, or you should come up with a product or a process. I don't know what you're doing. I just know it's different. I've watched you and it's pretty amazing. Now what I'll do is to simplify it for you and show you what I mean is I have different microfiber cloths here. Now microfibers are not all created equal, and that's one of the ways that this process can be done in a safe manner is you've got different piles, and pile is kind of like carpeting, which really has to do with how thick the fibers are. So you've got really thin microfibers. If you think about it, the last time you bought a pair of glasses or sunglasses, they've got this ultra fine microfiber cloth in it. Basically, you can clean your lens without any water. Then they've got these really thick plush microfibers that I use. So every one of my microfibers is designed, or yes, designed, but meaning I purchase it with a specific strategy in mind. So I could take a damp microfiber like this one and simply wipe my car. Okay, there were some spots here, I could wipe it down. Now most people back in the day would flip out, but because, where did it go? Oh, here we go. Like this one, Meguiars, sorry once again for the road noise, Ultimate Wash and Wax, waterless. Okay, it's unfortunately I didn't have the capital back then because I would have come up with a waterless car wash and wax product, but I accomplished it really the same way through just a wet microfiber cloth. So because now there's different ways to go about this. So let me grab something. Now this is what's called a California duster, and I have a whole video on this which I have not had time to post. A lot of preparation behind the scenes has to go into the videos and creating the links for you guys. So anyhow, there's more than one way, and I'm just going to take a little sidebar here because I know all of you do not watch all of my videos. So this is how it works, is there's incentive for me to make videos. It's not just because I love doing it and I've got nothing better to do. Honestly, I'm pulling 12-hour days right now, 6 days a week, and on the 7th day, like this weekend, I'm working both Saturday and Sunday. So there's not a shortage of work, and I'm really pressed for time. But what I mean on the back end is that I got to create a page that talks about the California duster. If I'm going to talk about it in my video and you want to get it, then I have the ability to make a little bit of a commission if you buy it through my website. So there's the incentive. Would I do this anyways? Yes, I would. It's just that there would be not as much incentive to make sure I get these videos produced to help you guys out. That's how you pay it in return to me. It's not a huge commission, but it all adds up and it all helps. And how that works is if you go to my website, in the description box, there's always going to be a link to my site, one of my sites. Now it may be to a very specific page, like this one when I get it posted, that will be about the California Duster, the pros and cons, everything about it. And then if you decide you want to buy one and you want to do it through my website and help support me, you click on that link. It will open up another window that will be autogeek.net. That is my affiliate. They pay me 7 cents on the dollar. I know it doesn't sound like much, but every little bit helps, and it helps me produce these videos, because right now I could be out detailing a car and making quite a pretty darn good money. So you just need to access that through my website. It will open up a new window, autogeek.net. You can find all these products on autogeek.net. It's not the only place. I know there's hundreds of other places you can buy them, but if you're gonna buy them, then hey, why not pay it forward, which is back to me? So thank you in advance. Now, when it comes to, for all you price shoppers out there, because I am too, like for example, I'm part of Amazon Prime, so a lot of times I get free shipping. When it comes to liquids, like if you buy these gallon size of wheel cleaners and so forth, they're never going to include free shipping because liquids just weigh so much. So if you want to spend all your time shopping and price shopping, especially when it comes to liquids, it's almost a moot point, because free shipping is never going to be included, unless, for example, at like autogeek.net, if you buy like over $100 sometimes, they will include free shipping, but that's a case by case. So that's how it works. Always look in my description of each video. There will always be a link. As long as you click to my website and then you click on any of the links on my website and it takes you to AutoGeek, I get a little bit of commission. So thank you very much. So this is the California Duster. How do I take care of my own car? This is a black Denali. It's a 03. I bought it used. I bought it with, I think, 40,000 miles on it. And in the past 8 years, I've put 40,000 miles on it. So right now it has about 85-ish. I don't drive it very much. It's the weekend cruiser. It sits in the garage. When I first bought it, it was a disaster. There's actually a page on my website that talks about color sanding. And I show you how I spent literally 40 hours color sanding the sides and back end of this car. I have not color sanded the hood or the roof. So this has been sanded flat and polished to perfection. But guess what? I have not polished this car or waxed it in the traditional way or washed it in the traditional way for 8 years. Because, let's see, actually I take that back. It's not 8 years. It's coming up for 6 years. Because I bought it right when I got remarried. Suddenly we had 5 kids. There wasn't enough room, so we had to get this. So it's going on almost 6 years next month. So for 6 years, I have either dusted it first with the California Duster, and since I don't have that video posted, yes, I recommend them. I do not believe they scratch. I've tested it and tested it, and I don't think they scratch. Of course, you're going to have all the naysayers and these so-called experts that say I would never use a duster on my car because it'll scratch. Well, then fine, don't use it, but I do. Now, if it's picking up in the light, this paint is less than perfect now, okay? Because literally, like I said, 6 years of doing this. I don't care how meticulous and what special methods you use to wash your car, you're still, after that long, you're gonna do some kind of damage, and damage is not all created equal. So this is where I talk about the 80-20 rule. So virtually, and I've always owned black cars, and they've always been used, and I've always taken care of them the same way. I've literally had people stop me at a stoplight and asked about my black car, whether it was a BMW or Mercedes, this Denali, because I've owned them all. And they just can't believe it. They say, oh wow, is that custom paint? I can't believe that's how old that car is. You must have just had it repainted, whatever. I mean, literally at gas stations, at the stoplight, at the market. And so the point is, I'm trying to make is that most people, or the gym, you know, they'll walk by my Denali and they'll be like, oh my gosh, that thing looks amazing, Darren. What did you do? Did you just detail it? It's like, well, actually, kind of. Actually, just what I call washed it. So depending on the layer of dust, now this thing sits in the garage most of the time, but it gets very dusty. I don't know if it's picking up, but there's a layer of dust on it. So I can approach this in one of two ways. I either wipe it with the duster and get the bulk of the dust off. Think about it like dusting fine furniture in your house. Would you pull the fine furniture out in the front yard, hose it down with water, lather it up with suds, dry it off, blow it off, and then put it back in your house? Of course not. Well, guess what? This dust is virtually the same dust that collects in your house. It just does it at a faster rate. So as I talk about, it's all about appropriate response to the situation. So if I'm just dealing with dust and my paint is in like level 8, 9, 10 grade, it's smooth, it's polished, of course it's black, then I don't have to overthink it, and I want to cut to the chase because I would rather cruise my exceptionally clean looking Denali or car. Yes, I enjoy working on it, but honestly, I more enjoy driving it clean and detailed. So I want to cut to the chase. So it's part of my mantra. How do I get better results quicker and easier? How do I cut to the chase? This is how I do it. I've been doing this for 15 plus years, this method. So based on the car, I will respond appropriately. I can take all the factors into consideration. How much time do I have? What color is the car? Because black, and once again, this is where people oversimplify things. Let me put this down. Is they go chasing around looking for the best wax. Okay, well, typically when people think of wax, they often think about just durability. Okay, well, you don't just wax your car for protection. You wax it because it looks good. Okay, so I want my car to look good whenever I'm rolling it out on the street. So I will do this once a week. In the meantime, it sits in my garage and collects dust. So I can either use the duster first, or I can just take a damp microfiber and wipe the entire thing down first, just like this. And because it's wet, it will actually remove some of the splatter from the road grime. Let's say I run through a gutter that's got some water on it and it kicks up a little bit of water. Because this is damp, it will actually take that off. And it's not going to scratch the paint, okay? That's the cool thing with microfiber, and that's why I pick a thicker nap one for this part of the process, because I want to wipe it off or dust it off. Now, like I teach my employees or my kids, if you're wiping a car off with a damp microfiber and you're not washing it the traditional way, you're not trying to rub the dirt in, okay? Because they'll just automatically come out and just start rubbing the dirt. Okay, what you're doing is you're wiping it off gently. So I'm not using a bunch of pressure, I'm just getting the dust off. Okay, so once the dust is off, yes, it looks good, and it's at level 9 right now, but I want level 10. So you have these new waterless wash and wax products. So, you know, not to brag or, you know, to blow my own horn, but I saw it coming, you know, over a decade ago. There's got to be a better way. Now, because of this whole eco-friendly and drought conditions, now people are suddenly willing to embrace the concept that you can actually spray a product on your car directly over dirt and wash it and wax it at the same time, okay? Now, this is not the microfiber I would pick for this part of the step. I'm just talking about how the market now is buried with waterless wash and wax products. I'm a big fan. But I can accomplish the same thing without a separate product. That's where, for example, I love the Meguiar's Ultimate Quik Wax. So I can wipe off the dust, because this is not a true waterless wash and wax. It's just a spray wax. It's a non-staining formulation. I can use it in the direct sun on hot paint. And I pick, let me get one. A brand new microfiber, and I literally get these at Costco bulk. Why? Because I consider them disposable. Now, I truly don't use them once and throw them away. I can do this whole Suburban with one side as what I call the wet side or the dirty side, the other side as the dry side or the clean side. So what I would do is, instead of using a waterless wash and wax directly over the dirt, I either dust it with a duster or I wipe it with a microfiber. How do I determine which do I do? Well, it's going to be based on the level of dust. Let's say life gets hectic and now it's got 2 weeks or 3 weeks of dust on it. I don't want to use the duster because it's just that much dust. I'm going to go with a microfiber first. It's going to leave trace little water spots, but I know that those will be removed by this. So I take my Ultimate Quik Wax and I wax it. Now, to me, that is the better method. So I apply it directly to the paint. I wipe it with the first side, which becomes not saturated, but it becomes wet the more I use it, obviously. But this side, it stays dry, and that's what I'm going to finish it with. Now, you can literally finish it with the wet side basically to a 99%, but I want to have a dry side to finish polishing or buffing it off. Okay, is the paint perfect? No, it didn't start out perfect, but this product is amazing at hiding that spider webbing. I need to polish this paint. I don't have time to do it, but that doesn't prevent me from still rolling a sweet looking black Denali that everyone thinks just had a custom paint job. Okay, now with that said, is I did color sand it or wet sand it, which is how you flatten the paint and then you polish it to a mirror. So I'll bring you in and you can have a close-up. Okay, so if you see my reflection, you see how literally it looks like a mirror? The outline of me, the camera, whatever, is like sharp. It's not, it doesn't have what's called orange peel. If we go down here, see, even there it doesn't have much orange peel. Orange peel literally looks like the surface of an orange. It's got all these little like crater things. And if you look at the reflection, this is a dirty panel, by the way. If you look at the reflection, the edges will be less than perfect, less than sharp and clear. So this literally, if you look, looks like a mirror, right? That's because I sanded it flat. And now it's easy to maintain, because guess what? You know what nature's most prolific solvent is? Water. Water will break down wax. Water, unless you are a living plant or an animal or a human species, it's really just not good for anything. It rusts things, it breaks things down. And so that's a little story behind why like 15 years ago I thought, you know what, there's got to be a better solution, because I would detail these cars and they'd look perfect, and then the next week we would take all these precautions to wash it. I kept experimenting with different wash products, car wash soaps, you can call them whatever you want. I experimented with the 2-bucket system. I experimented with different wash pads from synthetic to wool, whatever. And I was just frustrated because the car looked perfect the week before, and now I wash it, and now it's got like that, what's called spider webbing or wash scratch. It's those ultra fine spider web. It literally looks like spider webs have been laid out in your paint. So I got frustrated. I thought there's got to be a better way. So I started experimenting with just wiping it, not getting it wet. And I thought, wow, that is so much better. Not only is it better, but it's quicker. And I'm not using a bunch of excess water or anything. So that's actually the thinking that went behind it. So from then on, I've been doing this waterless wash method. Now, you may want to get like a true dedicated waterless wash and wax. There's many out there. But I think if I'm gonna go through the trouble, why not take it the next step higher, which is wax it at the same time. Now, a lot of the waterless wash and wax will say it has wax in it, and I'm sure it does, which is probably mostly just silicone. And there's probably just silicone in this too. Who knows if it has any carnauba. It actually just says hydrophobic polymer technology. Okay, hydrophobic means water fearing. So that's supposed to be, I guess, a good thing because it repels water. And yes, there is actual, chemistry into some of these words. It's not all hype. Polymers, that's just a big can of worms because that can mean so many things, but it sounds fancy. Anyhow, so I thought, okay, I can get to a level 9 with this in the same amount of time, but I can get to a level 10 with this in the same amount of time. I'm not damaging my paint. You could debate me all day long if you want as to whether that's going to scratch. Well, it's all going to be based on appropriate response. If you've got 2 months worth of dirt, or you live in a part of the country where it rains, because that's the deal. This never gets driven in the rain. It never gets wet. And so if you're driving in the rain, that's a whole different can of worms. So what I will do sometimes, like in wintertime, is I will actually get the rocker panels wet only, the very lower half, because that's where the main crunchy dirt from the road gets kicked up up onto your car from the ground. So I can just hose it off real quick with the water, straight water, just knock the chunks off, and then wipe it up with a microfiber, blow it off with a leaf blower, and that accomplishes that part of it if I need to, because I'm responding appropriately to the situation. Okay, that deals with the paint. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I think I've covered it. So I'm gonna make this a 2-parter because now we have to deal with the wheels and tires. And this is all just about the outside. I'm not even gonna talk about the inside. This is just all about the outside and what I personally do. Yes, do I do this professionally? Once again, it's all about appropriate response. So I will do the same method on my customers' cars because it's a win-win for everyone. I can cut to the chase, make more per hour. They can get a car that truly is like immaculate, showroom condition, week after week after week. I mean, it looks like a show piece. You've seen some of my videos. I mean, the cars look amazing. So it's a win-win for everyone. And there's endless debate, and I've had this debate with many guys. And I tell you, what's so funny is that every guy that debates me on it, I just tell them, I say, you go try it yourself and do it in the correct way. In other words, in the appropriate response. Don't have unrealistic expectations where you're going to collect, 2, 3, 4 months of dirt on your car and think that you're not going to scratch your car. Okay, that's just that's illogical. Okay, so do it in the appropriate way, and every single time they have come back and said, wow, Darren, you're right. I wish I had started doing this sooner. Do you realize how much time I saved? And that's the problem, is people will spend an hour and a half washing their car with the 2-bucket method out on the driveway on Sunday morning or Saturday morning, whatever, And guess what? After an hour and a half, they're too tired to do anything else. So their car never gets waxed, never gets detailed. But hey, they got a clean car, okay? Yes, I'm being sarcastic here at a level, and I'm kind of mocking that methodology and that thinking, because it's like, hey, let's cut to the chase. What is it you're really after? Now, if you're just trying to escape the house and get away from the wifey or the kids, and you think it's therapeutic to spend an hour and a half washing your car, well, that's a whole different discussion, and that's fine. I just don't, okay? I want to be in the house with the family, or I want to be on the road with the family, rolling my cool looking, exceptionally clean car. That's what I'd rather be doing, okay? So if you don't want to do it this way, the second thing I recommend is go to the car wash. You know, most cars, most daily drivers are not showpieces. So go to a quality car wash, 100% cloth or 100% hand wash. Get the basic car wash. Do it when it's convenient, when you're not waiting in line. That doesn't mean you show up on Saturday morning at 9 a.m. like everyone else in the world. That means you do it on the off times, off hours, or like us, when we go to the gym, we drop my wife's car off at the car wash literally right next door. So we go and work out for 45 minutes, we come back, the car's done. I bring it home, and guess what? I can detail the car. I haven't worn myself out just washing it. I let someone else do the grunt work. Cost me 15 bucks. That's the best 15 bucks I ever spent. Anyhow, so there's my other spin on car washing. But with that said, I know that there's some guys that will just cling to the notion that you gotta spend all this time. The more water they use, the more suds they use. They even have these foam guns. They look dramatic, they look theatrical. It makes sense. The more foam, the more water, surely the cleaner and better it is, right? Well, that's fine. If you embrace that ideology, go with it. I just say that there's a better way that's going to save you time and deliver better results. Okay, so I'm going to cut this, and then part 2 will be about the wheels, the tires, and the wheel wells.